right across the ecosystem with all stakeholders. Everybody's trying to do the right thing. What we're trying to do is make sure that everybody comes to the table and understands what the opportunities are for Canadians.
Do you think that the reputation of, predatory payday lenders and the reputation that they have in Canada has sort of skewed the impression that most Canadians have about the lending industry as a whole, especially when it operates outside of the major financial institutions?
When it's a political football and you're only allowed a soundbite, it's very easy to point a finger at a sector and use the word predatory, for example, because it's easy and it works from a political platform perspective. But the larger narrative is the one I was trying to say, is that if you have companies that their mandate is to report credit history, to nurture somebody towards prime, and we have them lined up across this ecosystem, across this continuum of lending, that's an exciting story to tell, but it's not a soundbite. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that it isn't easy, which has been easy, for politicians and regulators to conflate payday with the left of center lenders who are in a higher risk profile. So they're answering the needs of people that have high risk. And so, of course, in those situations, it's a very costly endeavor. However, as long as the mandate is to take somebody who may have hit hard times, they may have gone through a divorce, they may have some sort of medical problem in their family, and suddenly they need money to go from here to here. You need to facilitate that. So what's your recourse? You either have to facilitate it by allowing somebody to lend to those individuals who are high risk, but with a mandate of repatriating them to a prime, which is where they are. We call those invisible primes. Those are people that don't have the data visibility to be recognized as primes, but have the potentiality of being a prime. So if we can nurture them over to being a prime, well, that's their rightful place, and that's our job. But if you say that, no, you can't lend to anybody past this point because we won't allow you to lend to them because we're being, excuse the word, holier than thou by saying, here's the rate that we won't allow you to lend over. Well, people will stop lending. And what happens then? Well, those people still need cash. So what happens? It's happened in the UK. If you put a line in the sand and the market evaporates to service a high-risk sector, well, those people then go into the shadows for cash. You don't want that. You don't want somebody going down an alleyway to get predatory rates that don't in any way repatriate them to prime. So those are edge cases. What we need to understand is, again, that there's a continuum of lending in Canada, and we need to work with the whole journey of a borrower. And if somebody's in a situation where they don't have a credit history, we need to be able to build their credit. And as I talked about before, upsell and downsell with prime lenders on one side, non-prime lenders on the other, because at the end of the day, our goal is to make sure that capital is accessible for borrowers in need, borrowers that need certain services, and make sure that there's fluidity in the way that their good borrowing habits are rewarded.
Mm-hmm. So I think what I'm hearing overall is that both you personally and the CLA as an organization are all about entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs, being nimble, moving quickly, utilizing technology, but up against a system, a regulatory system and a government that characteristically operates in the opposite way of moving slowly, carefully.
Right across the ecosystem with all stakeholders, everybody's trying to do the right thing, right? So there are no baddies. Everybody's trying to do the right thing. What we're trying to do is make sure that everybody comes to the table and understands what the opportunities are for Canadians. So it's not that the regulators are a roadblock. It's not that the politicians are a roadblock. Everybody has a role and is trying to do the right thing for Canadians. What we want to make sure is that there's an open dialogue, and that if we can explain how we can service and the economy can service Canadians better, we want to make sure that we're telling the right story to the right people at the right time. And that's our goal. It's very much, that would be antithetical to what we're doing. It's not us against them.
Right.
It's not. We're all in this together. What we have to make sure is that data is free, information is free. We have to make sure that everybody's listening and everybody's using that data to advance the goals that we all have are the same, which is to protect, nurture, and advance the needs of Canadians.